Last week, the auto racing community lost yet another icon when we learned of the passing of Robin Miller after a long battle with cancer. It is no secret that there were many times where Robin and I were on opposite sides of a topic, but we did share a deep emotional respect one for the other because both of us were passionate about the sport that we so deeply loved. Maybe Tony Kanaan explained that dynamic best when we discussed Robin's passing during a recent episode of Brick by Brick on Sirius XM Radio.
You know, I know you two really well, and I can see why you guys didn't see eye to eye, because you guys are truthful to your opinion. You don't sugarcoat. You tell what it is, and that costs both of you some of your jobs.
Paul Tracy's thoughts may help some of you better understand the profound impact that Robin Miller had on the motorsports world.
His heartbeat was IndyCar. That his whole life was IndyCar and racing. That was what he bled, was IndyCar. And for me, he was a pivotal person in my racing career because, you know, he was a fan of mine to start with. And if he was a fan of yours, like he was of mine, or TK, or Dario, or any of the people that he latched to, there's some he didn't care for. He was a guy that talked me off the ledge when things weren't going well. And if I was mad at somebody, or I was mad at Penske back in the day, or when I got fired from Roger and I wanted to say this, and that, and he talked me off the ledge. I don't know how many times about saying something that I probably shouldn't have said. I should not have said. You know, he was a very close friend to me. You know, he was a guy that always had my back, even when things weren't going well. He was a guy that knew the inside of the sport probably better than I did. And
like Bob Jenkins, Robin Miller's life impacted many. But I think Robin himself may have explained it best when he visited his beloved Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader for the final time.
When George called and said, "Hey, I got some good news for you," I said, "What's that?" He goes, "You made the Motorsports Hall of Fame." I said, "Come on." He goes, "No. I mean, really? Bob Schweikert, Jimmy Bryan, AJ Foyt, Mario, Roger Penske. Prudhomme calls me up and goes, "You owe me, I voted for you." I said, "Okay." Chip, Don Garlics, all the guys that, you know, Parnelli, obviously Mario was great. You just can't, it's so hard to put you can't even imagine that you should probably be in the same sentence with these guys. I mean, think about what they've done. You're a guy, you're a writer. You write about the drivers and the teams and the races. And yeah, you've had great access and people have been cooperative as hell. And, you know, you've pissed a lot of people off and you've made some people happy. But to have relationships with guys like, you know, I'm 17 years old stealing beer at sprint car races for Jim Hurtubise. Just so you might remember my face. At 18, he hires me as a stooge, doesn't pay me. Realizes about a week and a half into it, I may be the dumbest person that's ever been around a race car. Has to fire me. Free help when I get fired. So then I start working on Bill Finley's IndyCar team, and then I go to work with Star and beg them to let me cover racing. Then I buy a Formula Ford from Andy Granicelli, thanks to Art Pollard. Then I become part of the Bentonhausen family, buy a midget there and start running USAC, and I'm writing 52 columns a year about USAC racing because USAC was on top. I flunked out of Ball State in 1971, and that's hard to do. It's hard to flunk out of Ball State. You got to try. I mean, you got to just. It's sad because my mom and dad didn't get a chance to go to college, and I just threw mine away. But it was amazing as you get older. So you go from hero worship and Mario and AJ and Parnelli and those guys, and then you become kind of friends, but you're covering them as drivers. Then you become friends with them. Then you get your home number, you call them anytime you want, they call you back. and then you just feel like you're part of their life. It's just so, I'm so lucky, it's unbelievable. And you could not chart my career. There's nobody in this day and age that could come along and have the luck I had. It just doesn't happen. It just, I was at the right place at the right time, and somebody said, let's give this poor 45 IQ moron a chance to do something. Because obviously he can't do much. And I just think, then I get sick and all you guys chip in and all the great, RP, he calls me and says, I'll fly to the Mayo Clinic, you need money. AJ calls, what do you need? You know, Mario and Rufus and everybody, and it's so humbling to see how many people jump in and want to help, and you know, you just can't, there's no words to describe. You're just overwhelmed because you're thinking, you know, I'm a guy that writes about racing and drivers and stuff, and these people have jumped in. I mean, I'd be dead without my sister and her friends, because I'd have died now. I'd have never made it through a couple weeks ago when I had fever and collapsed and all that, but it's unbelievable how many people have just jumped in, and Shunk and Fino and Larry Toe and Lloyd, they jump in and help. You know, like they will die in a bed, they built me an electric staircase. I mean, it's beyond overwhelming. You just can't even, what do you say? How do you repay people for that kind of kindness? You can't. You just have to be, I'm so lucky to have any friends. It shows you. I don't cry very often, but God, it makes you cry because you think about all the people who've jumped in to help, and you think, they don't have to do this, and they do. So, I don't know. If I don't get up tomorrow morning, I've had a great life.
Rest in peace, Robin. Your memory, your impact, your thoughts, and your passion will live on